Hello, everybody. My name is Phil MacDougall. I'm the president of the National Automobile Museum, and you are on What Drives Reno. I have a very special guest here with me today, Neoma Jardon, and she's the executive director of the Downtown Reno Partnership. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
Okay, well, thank you very much for coming and being with us today.
Thanks
We
for having
always
me.
start off a show with a really important question, because if you ask most people, they can't remember what they had for breakfast. But if you ask them this question, almost everybody will smile and say, takes them back to a place when they had their first car. So my question to you is, do you remember what your first car was? And is there a story that goes with
Oh
it?
my goodness, I do. It was a 1980 gray Honda Civic that my dad refurbished and rehabbed for me to have on my 16th birthday, which I proceeded in 3 months to roll and completely annihilate the vehicle. That's my memory of my first car.
Actually, everything was okay though, right? When you
Everything was
rode?
fine, other than the car.
It's so funny because you say to people like their first car, you get two reactions. They smile, they tell half a smile, and hopefully everything was okay with you. But they usually go, "Oh, I love it." And then a lot of people say, "Yeah, I lost it." You know, like they wish they never sold it, but you didn't have a choice. You rolled
I
it.
did not. I completely crushed it.
Well, thank you very much for sharing that with us. We're going to jump right in. You have been down there in this new role for a year. I cannot believe it's already been a year.
It's already been a year, and I'll tell you what, the year has gone by so incredibly quickly. Downtown Reno has really got it going on. We have a lot of new initiatives that we have at the Downtown Reno Partnership. Of course, our ambassadors are out there doing incredible work every day. So I'm excited that you're having me here today to talk about it.
Well, I think that's one of the things people need to know, because they have no idea how much you've accomplished in your first year. They have no idea, unfortunately, of all the things they can take advantage of. So we're going to jump right into it. One of the things I know you started, and I've heard a lot of buzz about it, is the Tuesday night events. And could you touch base on that and share a little bit with us?
You bet. So we have initiated a Downtown Tuesdays, and what that is the second Tuesday of every month. We host an event on our property. It's called called Partnership Plaza,
Yeah.
and we bring everybody together, and we have food trucks and music and yard games, and there's families and food, and it's a great time. And it really is just to bring everybody down on a Tuesday, which doesn't ever get any love. Tuesdays just get ignored. To say, come down to Reno, come down to downtown, see what's going on. It's all free, some great music, some great food, and some great friends.
You can't go wrong with something like that.
Nope.
You got free music and friends. When did you start it? And is it going every Tuesday?
We just started it in May, so
Okay.
it runs May to September, and it's the second Tuesday of each month. So we'll have one coming up here in July, and we just had one in May and June, and they were fantastic. We've had some great turnout. We had almost 200 people on our first event, and the weather's not been particularly great,
yeah,
so
I
we're
know.
super eager for our next event in July to have even more people come out and join us.
Well, that's a good sign, because if the weather has been that way and you had 200 people show up, you know it's a great start. People just continue to spread the word, and that's what we're going to do today, is tell people about all the things you and your team is putting together and doing that support the community, and I know you made a significant impact already just in a year.
Well, thank you.
So to remind people, if they want to learn more about that particular event series, where would they go? And the next one is...
The next one is July 11th. Come down
Okay.
to, go
Good.
to downtownreno.org. Go to any of our social media. If you put in Downtown Reno Partnership, you're going to find all of our social media pages. You're going to get all the information there, and just put it on your calendar. Maybe it's 5 o'clock. You think you're just going to go home after work. Stop by, have a cocktail, some food, and a good time.
That sounds like a lot of fun. And tell you the truth, we need to get out. It's been a tough winter, and the rain has been, it's good. Some people like the rain. I'm ready to have an evening of just driving home with a little sunshine, but now I'm going to stop by there to enjoy this and take advantage
Thank
of it.
you.
And I know it's a lot of work to put that together. People don't realize they show up for these events like, oh, entertainment and food. And your team puts a lot of work into this, so thank you very much. And everyone's
you.
going to enjoy it.
Yes, I hope so. Come on down.
Come on down. All right, so the next thing I want to touch base on is the vacant storefront beautification. I know that's been top of your agenda to work on. Can you tell us a little bit about what's taken place so far, or some of your milestones you have?
You bet. So our vacant storefront beautification program, that's a mouthful.
I was going to say.
is we have partnered with some private property owners and a local artist, and we come in and the artist paints the front of the plywood building or the glass or what have you, beautifies the area with some incredibly bright, vibrant colors that at night they light up. So
they light up at nighttime
it
too? I
lights
didn't
up
know
at
that.
night. There's a light that goes around the art piece, and it really is visually really pretty. And it certainly is far more attractive than a black plywood wall. And this is an effort that's been proven in other cities. It is a best practices. When people can get their eyeballs on a location, they can envision what might be there, what they could open their small business there, what its future could potentially be. So really what it does is it drives eyeballs to the space and hopefully gets it either sold or rented or leased to get it activated. And it has been proven successful in other cities. And now we have a second one, the Little Nugget, which has been shut down for a little while, saw the great artwork and how beautiful it was and said, I want to do that too. And the property owners are coming forward and they're funding a big part of the art. And we're just going to make our way through all the vacant properties in downtown and make them beautiful.
I think that's great because when you drive by and you see things, it's hard. You have to envision. You only see it in its current state. If you're making it pretty, you're adjusting it up a little bit, not only do you get people's attention, but they can see the potential there. So how can people watching, how can they help? Is it you're looking for sponsors? Is it looking for donations? How can we get involved and make a difference?
What we'd really like people to do is just come downtown and see it for yourself. We'd like you to come walk Virginia Street, see all the great things that we do have going on, see the potential in some of the great infrastructure and the bones we have in downtown Reno, and visitors, take a selfie in front of it. Hashtag it, Believe in Reno. Come and visit downtown and just really see some of the improvements that we're making incrementally and step by step. And just celebrate downtown Reno.
Well, I can tell you right now, the museum is going to get behind this. We're going to take some pictures. We'll promote it.
Thank
We'll
you.
get the word out.
Thank you.
The more people know about this and the events you're doing, the better. People need to take advantage of it, but we can all make a difference. And it usually comes down to some sponsors, but just as much, I think it just takes some community connections and grassroots campaigns to get the word out and tell people what's available and how they can help.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
The other thing that I'm going to go on and on here about this one for a couple of minutes about your overnight ambassadors. I'll tell a quick story, but can you just talk a little bit about the ambassadors and how that works and the impact? Because I have a huge testimonial for you on this one.
So our ambassadors are out in the business improvement district boundaries every single day. They're out there picking up trash. They're interfacing with our vulnerable population. And up until just recently, we had them working 7 days a week, 365 days a year, but they only worked 2 shifts. And what we were finding is, particularly in a 24-hour visitor town, there were issues that would come up over the graveyard shift. And we really wanted to have more ambassador presence and eyeballs and interaction during those hours. So we recently have launched our overnight ambassador program, and they are out there cruising the district, seeing the issues, reminding people of what the rules are and what they can and can't be doing, and connecting individuals with resources, and we're already seeing a big improvement.
They're very, very visible. So again, what would you like people to know about the ambassadors other than you change the schedule? Because I do know people in the community aren't that sure about what their role is, and they're very visible. And well, I'll just tell you a quick story.
Okay.
So when I first came here, we had some challenges around the property. I said, well, we called the 9, we did the hotline, we reached in, asked for some assistance. It was immediate. They came down. I walked out one day, we had some challenges outside the property line. I had some guests that were coming in here. I said, okay, well, let's just give it a shot. We'll give them a call. It wasn't even 15 minutes later, I went to the other side of the building. I came back outside to go talk to the family, and the ambassador was outside the door. Not only that, about 2 hours later, they circled back just to make sure everything was still okay with me. People don't realize the customer service they give, and I just want to give a little shout out to them because they make a huge difference. If nothing else, it's a show of confidence when you're walking around and you see a presence there.
Yes.
It makes a big difference, and I know it's been noticed by not only the local residents, but people who come to visit us from out of town, they see them. Is there one thing that you want to make sure people watching today know about them, or maybe there's something they misunderstanding?
You know, the ambassadors are the heart and soul of our organization, and they are out there. They're highly trained. They know how to interface with individuals that maybe need assistance. Beyond that, they are also a preventative measure. They're by their sheer presence. They are
Absolutely.
constantly picking up trash. They come and do spot cleanings if something needs to be cleaned. They are connecting people to resources. They're giving directions. They're giving restaurant recommendations. They are hospitality plus cleaning plus helping individuals who might need it. They are really our downtown heroes, and I cannot say enough about the ambassadors here in Reno.
Well, I 100% agree with you. They have made a significant impact in the museum and everyone I know that's seen them and interacted with them. You just touched on something, because I think a lot of people, from my personal experience, thought of them as, here's more of a security type, but it's more of a goodwill. It's an ambassador to, I mean, literally an ambassador to the region. What restaurants, where do I go,
Yes.
what's the best path, and a very, 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 great customer service. So we're very grateful, and I just think people, my only thing would be if people bump into one of them out there, please say thank
Yes.
you. That goes a long way. In all of our lives, when someone says thank you very much, doesn't it make you feel good?
They have a tough
use
job.
That, yeah, they do.
Have
They
a
have
very tough job.
job.
They're out there, good weather, bad weather, and we couldn't be more proud of our ambassadors.
I agree. City walks. Let's talk about city walks.
So city walks are something that started about 9 months ago now, maybe even 10. And what it was is we were finding, whether it was those of us at the Downtown Reno Partnership or the City of Reno, oftentimes we would walk around and we would find something that needed fixing, improving, cleaning, addressing. And it was always a system of, well, I got to go back to the office, send an email to the department, get it on a schedule, and maybe in a week or two we'll get someone out that can address the issue, whether it was graffiti or a pile of trash or a broken window, whatever it may be. So city leadership and myself came together and said, well, why don't we get everybody out of the offices and on foot and seeing it firsthand? And I have to tell you, there are just some things you can't see or fix from an office.
Yeah.
And getting every department together as you're walking and seeing things in real time, you can get things addressed in the moment. I'll give you an example. We had an individual that needed some assistance and transport to services. There was some cleaning that was needed, and there was some graffiti. That previously would have probably taken a solid couple of weeks to get it all addressed. By the time we started the walk, all of it was addressed by the end of our 1 hour walk. And it was because everybody that had something to do with those situations was able to address it in real time.
Well,
It's just invaluable.
Well, I can't compliment you enough, because it seems like common sense, right? But you just talked about those steps, and that's normal.
Yep.
Everyone's trying to do the best they can, but they see that even one of those steps you lose in a day. The other one, maybe you lose in 2 days. Maybe it's on the list here today for one of those key stakeholders, and it drops down because something else came back. Then you sit there, you make the walk, and I can see your group making phone calls. Okay, someone please come down here, call somebody else, and it's all done. That's, I mean, it sounds like common sense, but a lot of times we get caught up in all the day-to-day challenges, and this type of city walk experience just gets stuff done. That's what we need to do, just get her done.
Need to get her done is absolutely correct. And you know what else it eliminated? It eliminated assumptions about what some other department or person was or wasn't doing. It eliminated the finger pointing because we were all together.
I was
so
just-
it's a
I was
little,
just gonna
it's a
say
little
that.
harder to point the finger when someone's with you, and you have a much better understanding of the complexities of issues or why things are the way or get addressed or don't get addressed. But we're finding much improved conditions in downtown by having us all together, walking 5 days a week. We walk at different times. We go to different areas and address issues that we see.
It makes a big, big difference. But thank you for taking leadership role in that.
Thank you.
I want to take a sidestep here and just talk a little bit more about you.
Okay.
All right, so you're in this role now, but for people who aren't familiar with you, could you just kind of give us a little bit of an overview? Because when I was preparing for today, I had no idea of your background, and I have much greater appreciation for everything you're doing. But can you just share a little bit about your role here and involvement in the community?
You bet. So I am local to the area, was born and raised here, actually raised on a ranch just outside of Reno, but came back to Reno, went to college here, and began I spent 20 years at a statewide law firm, McDonald Carano, and I like to say I was the lawyer babysitter because I oversaw 50 lawyers, and that was a good training ground for a lot of things. And then I have always been interested and involved in politics and governmental affairs. And a city council seat came open, and our prior mayor, Mayor Cashel, was a dear friend of mine, and he said, "What do you think about running for this office?" And I had known what it was like to run small businesses and deal with personnel and those sorts of things. And I said, you know what, I'm going to do it. So my family, we all talked about it, and I ran for city council, and I was very fortunate to get reelected twice. And so I spent 20 years at a law firm, and then I spent 10 years in politics, and now I'm with the Downtown Reno Partnership. And my ward, when I was on the city council, was the very area in which I represent now in my new executive director role. So I had a nice training ground of the problems, the benefits, the issues. So this has been a perfect fit, this new position.
Well, I think you couldn't probably said it any better, but your first tenure there in your law firm, in that whole experience, and then going to the city, then going back to, well, still within the city downtown. You've seen everything. You've seen it from all different levels, so there's no one better, I don't think, that can see it from all the different perspectives. It's just normal, right, for people to say, well, that's not my issue or that's someone else's issue. But you know now from all different levels what the straight scoop is and how to get things done.
I do. I will tell you, there are just so many incredible businesses and individuals that live in our downtown area. And the fact that we in downtown Reno we can stand on Virginia or Lake Street and you can look up and you can see our Tier 1 university to our north, and you can see the river to the south. Mm-hmm. Do you know that is the envy of every city across this nation? Yeah. We are positioned so beautifully here in downtown Reno, and we are just seeing residential units just flooding in. Economic vitality in downtown Reno is really in a great space, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Well, I'm getting to see it. My tenure here has only been the last 2 years in this role, but in that short time that I've been here, I've just seen so much being done downtown. And our partnership with RSCVA, the support I've got from your organization, the mayor has been an unbelievable support.
True champion.
She has, I use that phrase, getting it done, because that's what she is doing right now. She's getting it done, and she's made a significant impact. Half the things that we've accomplished here, we couldn't have done without the mayor. And all the players that are around her team have really made a big difference. And when I heard you were coming onto that role, I'm going, okay, we're going to keep it going. So very, very grateful. And we've seen it, and we've enjoyed it all. Is there one thing, though, that, there's always something. There's always some misunderstanding that people have, or maybe it's not a misunderstanding. Is there one particular thing, or your top 2 or 3 lists you want to share? Like, I got an audience here, and I want to make sure they understand this is a priority, or this is not true, or this is something that, I don't know, anything you want to just... Reno wants to know, so this is your chance.
Reno wants to know. They may have had an impression of what the experience was in downtown from, 5-10 years ago, and maybe it wasn't a great one. I would encourage people to come on down and see it in what is happening now. Do we still have a ways to go? Do we still have some ground to cover? Absolutely. But the Riverwalk, the Brewery District, the Glow Plaza, downtown, the Arch District, everybody needs to come on down and give it another shot and give it some current eyeballs, and don't judge it on maybe an experience or what someone said from 10 years ago. It's a different downtown.
I am so glad you said that, because I'm speaking from experience. I was here the first time like 15 years ago, and I didn't live here at the time. And some of the people that came in from out of state through the RSCVA, I am watching them real time saying, I had no idea. You have the best of everything right here. People would die, to your point, to have that riverfront.
Yes.
And you're 20 minutes away. The big joke when I got here, everyone said, I said, where do you go? They go, oh, it's 20 minutes that way, 20 minutes that way. I go, can't be 20 minutes. It is. You get the best of all worlds at 20 minutes away, tops, but the hub is here. And I've just seen the whole area down here grow, get cleaned up. A lot of the issues we were challenged with, immediate response. But I'm glad you said that, because people shouldn't be focusing on past experience. That's old news.
And be a part of what's next for Reno. be a part of its positive promotion, be a part of visiting the businesses in the Brewery District and the Riverwalk and the Glow Plaza and downtown and the Aces Stadium. Be a part of that and help us to get to that next level with the next phase of what downtown's going to be. Yeah. We want everybody to have a stake in that.
And I'm not speaking for you, I'm just speaking for me right now. One of my pet peeves is when people have an opinion, but it's not based on real data. Or they want to get things done, but they don't want to roll up the sleeves. Anyone can sit there and just give you, hey, I don't think this should be done, or I think you should do that. The very first word I say, oh, great, would you like to come to a meeting? Would you like to be part of the brain? Oh, I don't have time for that. But it's something you want to make sure is taken care of. So roll up your sleeves. You don't have to commit 40 hours a week. You can commit maybe a brainstorming session or just give an input to your very email. If people have suggestions, what's the best way to communicate with your team?
If you go to downtownreno.org, we have a feedback form on there. You can always call our hotline, and I want everybody to put this in their phones, 775-313-4080. Give us feedback. If you see issues in downtown, absolutely report them. Be a part of the transformation of downtown Reno, because we are in it. We're going to look in 5 years and we're going to go, oh my gosh, I was there when that next phase of downtown was really coming together.
Be part of it. Be part of the solution. Don't be part of the past. Be part of the solution and make it happen. So thank you very, very much for everything. It's an honor to have you here, and I'm grateful for everything you've done the last year. I can't imagine what you're going to accomplish in the next year, but thank you for everything.
Thank you.
And for those of you, one more time with the telephone number.
775-313-4080. That's our hotline. Call it. We'll help you with anything you need.
Great. And for those of you watching, before we wrap up, I want to thank you very much for tuning in. Remind you that the National Automobile Museum is voted #1 in TripAdvisory of favorite places to visit when they're here in town. We have a lot of cool things happening. We have a new exhibit that changes literally every month. Aaron Hagar is got a new exhibit. He just kicked it into gear yesterday. It's going to be here for a month. We have a new Tesla exhibit called Made in Nevada, and we're really excited about that. All their technology, followed by a 50th anniversary American Graffiti. That movie was made 50 years ago. We're bringing in some of the cars from the movie. They're going to be here. We're doing a huge party on August 3rd, a lowrider exhibit. There is something changing all the time, so we encourage you to go to our website, which is www.automuseum.org. Let us know. Come down and visit us. We're open 7 days a week. Neoma, thank you very, very much for everything. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
I literally, I didn't want to say